Mythics, happy Christmas and a happy new year to one and all. How is everybody? Yes, we're halfway through. It's the in-between bits. We've had Christmas Day, got New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, I should say. How is everybody? My name's Ken Boyter. This is Loquacious from the Bottled Imp. If you don't already know, I do a Bottled Imp YouTube channel. Well, kind of. We haven't done a video for a while. And this was co-created with me and a guy called Julian. Check it out. We do fancy film reviews, fancy book reviews, and fantasy board game reviews. But not only that, Edra Tales is also on YouTube as well. So if you miss any of these and you prefer to watch them on YouTube, then go over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button as well while you're there. Why not? Told you I'd be here. Yes, hello, Martha. Hello. Yes, sorry I'm late. I'm about 5 minutes late, actually. Yeah, I tell you what, over Christmas, it's really nice. What is really nice is just to relax and just take time off. So hopefully you guys have been doing that. Good chilly evening, Martha and Ken and Grocklesnook. Yes, good evening, Leerin. How are you? I've got the hiccups now. Why have I got the hiccups? The Merry Christmas hiccups. Did you have a lovely Christmas? That's the first question. Did you all have a lovely Christmas? It's a bit chilly. Yeah, it's been... In the UK, it's been pretty mild, I would say. Certainly in the south where I live. It's been pretty mild, so it's been good. We've not seen any sleet or even snow, nothing. Or I should say the other way around. We've not seen any snow or even sleet. Stressful. Oh, sorry to hear that, Martha. And still coughing a lot. No more snow. Okay, so at least there's no more snow for you. Are you... Oh, it's up to you if you want to say, but... Because have you got your new cat then? Is this why you're stressful, or you're leading up to getting the cat? Because, you know, yes, cats are a big responsibility. However, they just bring so much joy into people's lives, don't they? And I love cats because they're so independent. They're like, yeah. You know, I just love that sort of attitude that cats have. Sorry to hear that, Martha, mental health stuff. I'm so sorry to hear that. Big hugs for Martha. Big hugs for Martha. Well, know that you know, well, stressful. I don't know what's going on in your life, obviously. However, just to relate that back, just so I kind of empathise with you, Martha, because life is weird, isn't it? Life can be very odd, and I think as life, you know, as you grow up, as you grow older, you have different challenges in your life, don't you? You got different things to feel stressed about, or different things to worry about, or anxiety. So I know, I was just tagging into what I was saying, really. I was I was late actually today because I was just enjoying doing nothing. You know, I woke up about 8:30, and I was just like, oh, I'm just going to lie here. So I just watched some true crime TV, and I just thought, it's nice just doing nothing. I'm not going to worry about things. I'm just going to relax and take that time off. Just lots of gift wrapping and money spending. Wanted to save more for the trip next year. Yeah, that's another thing. Money can be just a nightmare. Stressing over money. I definitely know that feeling. So, yeah, trying to learn techniques to be mindful, I guess, and de-stress. Trying to get rid of that stress in your body. Because it's negative energy, isn't it? And it's causing you problems. Hang in there, says Leerin. Yeah, dear Martha, absolutely. Hang in there. So I found... It's funny, being a creative person, you probably know this. you kind of constantly want to create. And then that isn't necessarily good for your mental health in some respects. So I've got 2 weeks off, and half my brain goes, great, you can crack on with your projects, you can get stuff done, you can, it'd be great to finish that and great to do that, and then half of me goes, yeah, but hang on, I should be enjoying Christmas and taking time off and visiting friends and family and doing all that sort of stuff. So it's sort of, I'm caught between those two modes. And so I've really had to be careful not to overdo it over Christmas and just constantly work on my projects. So I've managed to do a balance of it, I think. Going to have HelloFresh next year so I don't spend money on junk food. That is fantastic news, Martha. I do HelloFresh. I know, they deliver to the dungeon, which is great. Yes, I do HelloFresh, and I find them really good. I've only had one issue really with them where they forgot to put a pudding in. And then I had to spend quite a lot of time on their chat, just trying to resolve the situation. And in the end, they gave me £10 as credit just to say, oh, sorry about that, so I can buy an extra pudding the following week. So they resolved it perfectly. But what I like about HelloFresh is, it's healthy meals. You're cooking from scratch, as much as possible. They do send you sauces, but, that's fair enough. And you get exactly the amount of food you need. There's no wastage. I very rarely waste any food. Occasionally I might say rocket. I'm not a big fan of rocket. I'm not going to have that and put that in the bin. But it's very rare, it doesn't happen often that you waste food. And and you're right, it's not junk food. It's not junk food. So I really enjoy it. And also the other thing is it saves you time. You literally spend time choosing your meals for the week, and then that's it. It gets delivered on a day, and then I get a delivery every Sunday once a week, and that lasts me the whole week. It lasts me 6 meals, and I do a murder mystery on a Saturday, so I have my murder mystery meal on a Saturday. But what's really refreshing, HelloFreshing, is it's good food, it's healthy food. So that's really cool, and it saves time. It saves so much time, because if I was to make these recipes, I'd have to look at recipes, I'd have to look them up, I'd have to go to the supermarket, get those specific ingredients, and you might just want a little bit of that ingredient, but you have to spend a whole pot of it. Do you see what I mean? So I really like it. So you should really enjoy having HelloFresh, which is fantastic. And it is good for your mental health, because I haven't got a lot of time, or I don't want to spend time cooking. Well, actually, I do actually quite like cooking. So I don't mind cooking. That's fine. I do like cooking. But it's spending the time working out what I'm going to eat, and then also going to the supermarket to get all that food I find just annoying. And I'm getting older, so I'm getting grumpier. So things like that. Especially now as the supermarkets have all decided that they'll play music. I know there's one or two that don't. But the supermarket that I go to have decided to play music now all year round, which messes with my head. I don't want music in shops. What is this modern obsession where every public space you go to now, they have to be pumping music out? It's like, can't we just think? Can't we just have it where it's silent? Can't you let the natural atmosphere of people chatting fill the space? And also, what if I don't like your choice of music? Rant over. Let's see what Lirin has to say. Lirin had a medieval and prehistoric Christmas. That sounds perfect. After a stint as actual European bard on Sunday, went to pick a literal bone with a long-necked friend visiting the London Natural History Museum. Yes, absolutely. So Lirin Yes, I've seen those pictures of you and the big brontosaurus that's on tour at the moment. So that is fantastic. And you're a bard. Did I see that? I might have... Oh, no, I saw you with your axe and your fur coat like you're a warrior, like a Viking. That looked a lot of fun. You're like swinging that around. You're quite proficient with the old axe. Wouldn't want to meet you in a dark alley. And you wanted some of my money. So there we go. Yes, you had a medieval Christmas. I had a lovely Christmas. Well, hopefully you guys did. Tell me about your Christmases. As I say, I was trying to find that balance between doing my creative projects and then relaxing. So, but also not only that, seeing friends and family, but also just having time for yourself. And again, I realise as I've known this for a long time though. I like my own company. I like to be on my own. So, but equally I do like people, but there's a limit. Now, I think I'm an introvert extrovert, which I know it sounds a contradiction, but it's like, I don't mind, I like socialising, I like trying to make people laugh, all of that. However, there's a limit. Close the door. But I also like me time to be on my own, to refresh my batteries. And so therefore, if you've got your own me time, if you're limited with time, then you're tempted to just do it creatively and do all that, but then you're not taking time off, so you're not resting. Do you see what I mean? So if you are a creative person, you might identify with that. Talking of Christmas, then there's some notable presents that I got, that Sally got me actually. We'll do them in kind of reverse order. So look at this, Lovejoy. Nothing to do with fantasy, nothing to do with normally what we would talk about, but it's the Judas pair. It's Lovejoy. For those of you in the UK, hopefully you know all about Lovejoy. Lovejoy is an antiques dealer. That's his name, Lovejoy. And this was a TV show years ago when I was growing up, and I used to love watching it. It was one of my favourite shows. And it kind of reminds me of my mum as well, because she'd watch it sometimes as well. So it's got some very fond memories. And about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I stumbled across the fact that the whole TV show, which ran for like 7 series, was actually based on a series of books. I didn't know that. So when I found that out, I was like, I must start reading them. And this one says it's a murder mystery. Well, Lovejoy, the TV show, wasn't billed as a murder mystery. So I'll be curious to know if all of them are actually murder mysteries, and why they then didn't sort of translate that to the TV show. Anyway, that's just my own little personal thing. So that was a lovely little... And what is also cool is that this is second-hand, and it's from Norfolk Library. It's from Norfolk Library. So occasionally libraries will sell off their books, and you can get them really cheaply, so that's cool. And this one came with, as you can tell, its own plastic sleeve to keep it protected. Its own plastic sleeve. That's how you know it's a library book, because all library books have that in the UK. Not the Norfolk. Oh, what did I say? Yeah, Norfolk Library and Information Service. Norfolk Library. Yeah, the Norfolk... I suspect some sarcasm there, Jonathan. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Merry Christmas. Yeah, the Norfolk Library. Have you never been there? It's world renowned. It's got the full collection of Alan Partridge. The curious thing, says Lyrin the Barbarian. Yeah, the curious thing about pole arms, which are long weapons, is that more so than swords, long hefted weapons easily cross culture barriers. Once you know the basics of Asian staff combat, hammer, quarterstaff and two-handed axe halberd is surprising to get the grip of. Nice pun as well, and vice versa. Yes, I can imagine anything long is going to be the same, isn't it? whether it's an axe on the end or a mace on the end or whatever, you know, it's just a long stick, isn't it, that you're swinging around. I guess you would have to practice on the weight, because the weights would be different. Mind blown. Howdy, entities. Oh, and Jam's here as well. Meaty tubes to you. Meaty tubes to you all, one and all. Yeah, the Norfolk Library. No, I like the fact that I love buying second-hand books. It's brilliant because I also like sometimes there's a little history that you find. So there might be an old bus ticket or an old train ticket in there. There might be an inscription. You know, do you see what I mean, on the front? So I like the fact that this is from the Norfolk Library. It's Meaty Tubemas. Merry Meaty Tubemas, one and all. Yeah, exactly. I have some great ex-library books in my collection. Yeah, exactly. But were they from the Norfolk Library? That's like the A grade. That's how we judge everything. Norfolk Library, then Suffolk Library. Then we just move, never eat west, out a bit. Essex Library. Yes, I've got some good, great library ones. And a happy Meaty Tubes to you. How was your Christmas, Jam? Was it good? I've none from Jonathan, you do disappoint me. If I'd known that, then I doubt our friendship would have blossomed the way that it has. That you still have time to redeem yourself, though, so get yourself down to Norfolk Library, see if they've got a sale on. There you go. So Lovejoy. I'm going to look forward to reading a bit of Lovejoy. Another present that Sally got me, isn't she kind? She got me this case. Look at this. This is an escape room. It's an escape room. 5 cases in a case. See what they've done there? Top secret. Sorry, Dad called. No worries, Martha. Real life always takes precedence. War for Rohan. Oh yeah, Japanese version Wednesday on IMAX. Yes, you've got that to come, haven't you? The first session bonus was a cloth map of... Oh no, did you see it? Did you already see it? I can't remember if you saw it on Wednesday or you're going to see it. Bonus was a cloth map Ronan Gondor along with a poster of the film. Oh, that is fantastic. That's why you're paying the big bucks. Jam is superb, thanks. I got his girls here. That's brilliant news. I told them I'm writing a book with you. Yes. Say hi to Cassia. Hello, Cassia. Many Meaty Tubemas to you. Don't spoil it for... I've not seen that. Don't spoil it for Cat. Oh yeah, don't spoil it for me. Yes, I've not seen it yet. I'm going to be seeing it somehow. I can't tell you how, but somehow. But look, this is 5 cases apparently. They're like little murder mysteries. I don't know about murder mysteries, but they're little mysteries in nice little envelopes. So this is really cool. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of think murder mystery, it's been done to death, pun intended. However, you can still reinvent the murder mystery. So their hook is that it comes in this travel case. And if I get you this, which is the outer wrapping of it, it says solve the case. Solve the case. Do you get that, Jam? It's worthy of you, Jam. Solve the case because it's an actual case. It says a 3D escape room game. 3D. What do you think 3D is about then? When you open it up, I'm not sure if that's totally misselling it because it's not 3D. I mean, everything's 3D. A board game is 3D, isn't it? A card game is 3D. Do you know what I mean? These seem very flat. I was expecting... However, what I think will happen is there'll be stuff to do with the case as well. So I think these images may come into some of the cases. So maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. I've not played it yet, but it should be fun. Yet see the English version? No, you're going to see the English version as well. That is pretty cool. And Tansy says hello too. Hi there, Tansy. And meaty tubemus to you as well. Hopefully Father Christmas came and you've been good girls and you've got some nice presents as well. Now, I didn't get this as a present, but I did sneak into a second-hand bookshop and found this. Look at that. Supernatural in Cornwall. We're going all over the globe. Well, England today. Look at this. Really kicking it old school. Kicking it old school type of book. Oh, I was going to say, it's got $4.99 in there. I didn't spend $4.99 on this. $1.99. There we go, $1.99. So some super... Oh, Boz Castle, Witchcraft. Whew, some ghosts there. Penfound Manor. Oh, Murdered Priest. See, there's some good stuff in here. A Murdered Priest. Cleve Camp. Has anybody heard of these places? Boz Castle, I think we've heard of. Tonacombe, an old lady. And look at that. Look at that, he's sporting a look. Look at that. So there's some great pictures in here as well of just people standing next to their fireplaces. So that's a great book as well. I haven't read it yet, it might be rubbish. Let's have a look here. Jam's put, Ken Upsy Daisy says, blow her a kiss. I'm not a performing monkey, Daisy. Grocklesnook. I'll tell you what, why doesn't Grocklesnook blow you a kiss? How about that? Yeah? You can do it? There you go. There you go. It is a strong look. I like the beret look. Hats don't really suit me. Birthmas presents. Anyway, no. There you go. There you go. I've blown you a kiss. I'm a grumpy old man. Why would you want me to blow you a kiss? Right, anyway. Having friends born near Christmas really makes buying presents less challenging. You can shop for both occasions in one go and present both in one neat package. That sounds like you got it sussed. That is one of my things that I'm trying to be more organised for next year. You know, I'm going back to the old school of using an address book and writing people's birthdays in the address book, and also writing their people's birthdays in my diary. So I'm going to send, you know, I want to get back in the habit of sending cards, sending birthday cards, sending Christmas cards, all that sort of stuff. He is a magic monkey. Who's a magic monkey? Me? Grocklesnook. I'm confused. You made a little girl happy. Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So you're going to send one... Well, I do know your address, actually, don't I? Yeah. That's a good point, Martha. The next book. Look at this book. Now, this was a fantastic Christmas present from Sally. The Game Design Toolbox. And I know, because I've seen this, you know, advertised, this isn't cheap. It's not particularly thick book, but it's not cheap. And so I'm very, very grateful for Sally for buying me this. Presently, occurring present for a born on New Year's Eve friend. Ah, born on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. Oh wow, what a time to be born. I still have yours and not spoiling anything. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. So yes, the Game Design Toolbox, and this is by Martin Andler. Is that how you pronounce his name? It says here, the book presents 71 practical game design tools that readers can use to solve real-world design game problems. Game design problems. Written to be a toolbox for game designers, it offers hands-on approach with clear and easy-to-use tools so that readers can quickly find the right solution to the problems they are facing. So that's pretty good. So I've not read too many. Oh, look at that. I also get a bookmark. I've already seen this as well. Fitzwilliam Museum. That just tips this present over the edge. Now, I've not had a look yet of this, but it's got game designer, states of game design, mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics, MDA, loops and hoops, embracing subjectivity, brainstorm on paper, zoom in, zoom out, verbalize. It's quite a lot of chapters, actually. Quite a lot of chapters. Balance coverage, using foiling, lift things up. So this does look like a really cool book. I do warn you now, if you do want to get hold of this yourself, it is quite expensive in the UK. I think it's because it's a niche book. I don't think they're planning on selling many of these. It's like academic books at university. You know, sometimes I'd buy an academic book, you know, and it's like 40 quid, 50 quid, and it's like, whoa. It's because they don't, you know, they're never going to be mass market sellers, are they? Because it's quite a niche one, so I think that's why. So very, very looking forward. So very, very grateful for Sally for getting me this, and also looking forward to delving into this because I've not read. Have I read any game books yet? The only one I've got at the moment is to do with. Well, of course I've read game books, but I mean books about game design. Look at my hair. What's going on? Like Dracula. A teddy boy in the 50s, is a book that is aimed at games designers, and it's about being a games designer, not necessarily about playtesting. And it's from the YouTube channel Adam in Wales. So a guy called Adam, I've forgotten his surname now, but Adam Porter. He's a game designer. He's got about 7 or 8 games out there, and he started a YouTube channel X amount of years ago, delving into game design. And I found that very useful, you know, in helping me be a games designer. So that's great. Hi Martha, say hi. Please pass on a Happy New Year with a little age. There you go. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? The Mythics, the Fellowship. So yeah, so I'd be interesting to read actual game design, you know, other people's opinions on game design, because at the moment I'm just going on experience. I'm going on gut instinct about designing games, but also I'm learning from Kedrick, you know, my friend Kedrick Winks, that you presumably all know, because I've co-designed a couple of games with him, and you know, you learn obviously when you're in a creative partnership or creative team, you kind of learn from each other. So you know, that's really all. I've not really I've not really read up on stuff, so it'd be interesting to get your teeth sunk into that. So, just to remind everybody, yes, my Of Magic and Monkeys paperback is now on Amazon. Look at this. And this is my proof copy. This is why it says not for resale. They make that clear, don't they? It's because this is done at cost, really. But I'm so happy with the quality. I was not expecting this from Amazon, because this is just print on demand from Amazon. The images, I don't know if you can see that, but the quality has come up absolutely fine. You know, each chapter heading has a little monkey. So they've come out really well. I'm really pleased with them. The text has come out very clear, very sharp. It's as I wanted it on the page. You know, they've not done something weird. You know, then there's a picture of myself at the back's come out well, and then a picture of Rich. I mean, it's a little bit on the dark side, but then that is Rich. Hey. So yeah, and also it's got a matte finish, and it's got that. I really like that sort of matte texture, rather than the glossy. But then, if you want the hardback, I think I've got about 20 of these, maybe 25 of these left. So these are limited edition. There's 40 that I printed, and once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not going to be selling. I'm not going to be doing another hardback edition of this. This is it. So the paperback though will be available on Amazon. It is available now on Amazon. So if you want the paperback version, that's $6.99. And I guess if you're on Prime, it's free shipping. Also, free shipping in the UK, I would imagine. I'm not sure Prime extends from other countries. Anywho, it's also on Kindle. It's on digital format as well, so you can download it. And again, if you've got Amazon Prime, you get it for free, or it's $1.99 to download it. So there we go. So that's just a quick plug for that. Got to keep plugging. So over the Christmas period, you might think, well, Ken, what have you been working on your projects? Well, I have been working on my projects. And this is what I was saying about balance between overdoing it and having time off. Oh, Happy New Year. I have been working on To Kill a Thief, which is my first game book. Devilish Dilemmas is the series that this is the first book of. And these are standalone game books. Standalone game books. I made that decision to make them standalone because it's very tempting to have it where you could take your character into the next book. I like that concept, a bit like Lone Wolf. However, I did realise that if I'm at a stall, you know, and if say I'm trying to sell my books at a book fair, that I'm always going to have book one in stock. And if I've got, say, you know, eventually I've got, say, 5 or 6 books there that they could potentially buy, and you have to read them in order, then of course people are going to go, well, that's a bit overwhelming, or I'll buy book one. So you're going to sell more copies of book one than any of the other copies. Whereas if they're so that might put them off buying any of the books. Whereas if they're all standalone, then there's no problem with that. If I don't have any in the future, let's say I haven't got To Kill a Thief in stock at that book fair, it doesn't matter because I've got my other books in stock. And also what it does do is that the way I'm going to do it is that you're going to be playing different fantasy archetypes. So in this book you play a thief. In the next book you might play an assassin. In the next book it might be, I don't know, a baker. You know, it could be in the next one. It might be you might be a rat wife. The one after that, you might be. Do you see what I'm getting at? You might be a sorcerer. You might be a wizard. You might be a whatever. So if you are particularly into being a thief, and you love role playing thieves and all of that, then you're probably going to gravitate towards this book. If you really love being, somebody of a magical nature, then you're probably going to gravitate towards the magic character. So I'm hoping that there's going to be, something for everyone eventually, if that makes sense. To Magic and Monkeys! I feel called out. Yes, Martha does have a bit of a persuasion towards playing rogues and thieves. But I'm like you, Martha. I like playing in D&D. I love playing a rogue. And so I think that had a big influence of what one I did first, what one I wrote first. So that hopefully will appeal to lots of different people. And it also meant that I can have a game system in the book that stays the same each time, so you're familiar with it. So if you play more than one game book, then once you play it, you go, oh, I know that game system. Like a lot of them. However, each character will have their own set of unique abilities as well. So as a thief, you get sleight of hand, you get stealth, you get some other ones I can't remember now. That in the next book, they're not going to be there. They're going to be. So say it was a blacksmith. Say you were playing a blacksmith. Why not? Let's do a blacksmith game book. You might have. What would you have? Forging. You might have a skill that's forging. You might have a skill that is. What else would a blacksmith have? Drinking. I don't know. But I'd have to think that through. Do you see what I mean? And you'd have, say, 4 traits that you would use throughout the game book, which I think is quite a cool thing because each game book will be different but the same, if you see what I mean. It will use the same core mechanics, but then you'll have your own particular traits that you can progress on in the game book, and then each one of those will be different. The cover art of the Return to Tavern on Gallows Hill is finished. Fantastic, Jam. The art of smithing. Yeah, exactly. What would you'd definitely be able to... Forging would be definitely a trait, wouldn't it? What else would you be good at? I don't know. We'd have to think about that. I'll have to really seriously consider if that is a good character to play in a game book. I do want to go into the obscure stuff as well. So I don't just want to give you the same archetypes, so that everyone else does. But I do want to, so I do want to go in a bit obscure. So I'm going to mix it up with stuff that you'll be familiar with, and then characters that you might not be familiar with. Well, how about a blacksmith that has to solve a murder mystery? Yes. Well, this one's this one's a murder mystery, bit of a murder mystery. Yeah, it could be blacksmith. Yeah, and also I am trying to get the plots different as well. I don't want everyone to be a murder mystery, although that's tempting, but I do want the plots to be different, so, there's just more difference when you play them. Oh yeah, of course, strength. So it'd be good with weapons then. Well, not necessarily good with weapons, but it'd be good at hand-to-hand combat. That would be one of your traits. Yeah, forging and hand-to-hand combat then. He's just used to grappling in the pub car park. Coach park. In the stables. Grappling in the pub stables. He'd call someone out if they go, ah. And arm wrestling, you could have a little challenge where you have to arm wrestle. Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. So you could do a blacksmith. Yes, an apocryphy, I can never say that. Apocryphia in pre-industrial times would make a surprisingly effective pre-modern detective with his or her skill set. Yeah, absolutely. That's the sort of character that I'll be looking at, Lewin. Yeah, that you go, right, or a herbalist. If you're going to medievalize it. Yeah, or an apocryphy. That was the name in the medieval times, wasn't it? So, yeah, that's the type of thing. This is why I wouldn't mind doing a water scriber, otherwise known as a piss prophet. Yeah, as a piss prophet. That was an actual thing back in medieval times where people would come to these water scribers for two things. For health, so they would ask you to pee in a bottle in a different room. You would then look at the bottle and you would see from your bottle, from your wee, what was ill with you, and then they would give you healing potions and tonics to help you, with whatever they diagnosed in your wee. But not only that, a water scriber or piss prophet could then tell you your future from your wee. That was an actual thing in medieval times, as I've talked about before. And I have written a short story on that, and I really enjoy doing that. So I may, that's the sort of thing I'm looking for, where it's got the trappings of medieval fantasy, but it's not just your generic warrior, wizard, elf, or whatever. I want to do things differently. So yeah, there we go. So I have been working on that, and the good news is, this is my flowchart. I have finished the 400 entries. Yes. I've finished plotting out, not writing them, but plotting out the 400 entries. This one I printed when I was, how many was I into here? Oh God, 269. So I need to print out the latest version. And it is exactly 400 entries. I had thought the amount of plot I had, it would be longer than 400. I was kind of thinking it would be more nearer 500, but I wanted it between 400 and 500. So I'm very happy. And then as it got close to 400, I was like, I'm kind of, genuinely sort of running out of plot. It fits. And then I was thinking, right, I kind of now want it to be exactly 400. If it was like 420, that'd be fine. But if it was like 47, it's like, that's an odd number. So I feel very happy about that. Why not just print out the pages you're missing? That way it's saving. Yes, that's exactly what I will be doing, Martha. I will be doing that. Yes, absolutely. But I'm very, very happy with it. I know I shouldn't be, but no, I'm very happy. It's a Jam and Jonathan, anyone else that writes game books. There are certain milestones in books when you write, when you create a project, where you think, if I can get to that stage, then you can kind of look at it again. So this is a bit of a milestone to actually plot out the novel. And believe you me, the game book, I should say, this is the hard part. I'm thinking out of a game book, this is the hard part. Working out all the branching narratives, working out where they're going to, come to a sticky end, or where you're going to shut branching narratives down. Trying to keep it different and interesting. In game books, we've been doing a lot of game, live stream game books. And the ones that have really captured my attention are the ones that keep the game book different, keep the plot different, so that you're not continuously doing the same thing. Now, I know that's a little bit of a weird thing to say, because The Ghosts of Craven Manor by Joseph Daniels, that's the current one that we're doing. And there was one session where we literally went round in circles and we couldn't do anything. It was like, you go open the door, you go to open the door, it's locked, you haven't got a key, you need a red key, right, okay, where's that? And we kept doing that, and we went round in circles, and that one I did get frustrated with. However, we persevered, and I forgave the book because there's a time travelling aspect. So you can go to the same room, but there's different things happening depending on the time that you're entering, So it might be 1954, or it might be the 1800s, or it might be present day, and then the different things are happening in that room. So there were differences. You're not just going back to the same room and it's the same things going on. So I thought that was a very clever way of doing an open world, because you can go to different rooms whenever you like, but there was different things going on. Jonathan here has put, I always roll my eyes when I see yet another Kickstarter, another RPG that features dwarves, elves, men and wizards. It's been done to death already with D&D, Fighting Fantasy, Warhammer and Dragonbait. Yeah, no, absolutely, Jonathan, yeah. It's tricky though, because, and this is like with any genre, what does Jam also say? I shall enjoy the writing the next scene in which is Akara. It's in a I can never pronounce this name. This word. Sepulchre. That's like a crypt thing, isn't it? It's a crypt thing. Yeah, no, absolutely, Jonathan. It's a tricky balance, because what makes a genre a genre? So obviously, if you're trying to write a horror book or create a horror film, and you don't put any scare jumps in, you don't put any frightening things, there's no ghosts, or there's no axe murderer, or there's nothing that will indicate it's a horror film, then it's not a horror film. So you have to find that balance, don't you? You have to take what makes the genre, but then try to do something different with it. So for example, with fantasy, you could argue, well, what makes fantasy fantasy? I would say magic is probably the first thing that it is. Hang on. Shesh Pulka. Jonathan, we've done this dance before. You know that even if you spell it out, I'm not going to get it right. Sheepula. It's Skeptula, isn't it? Let's just move over and we'll just edit this bit out. Don't worry. So I would say magic is a defining quality of fantasy. So somewhere in your fantasy book, you need to put a bit of magic in. Even if it's low-level magic, it still kind of needs to be there. I would also say... I would say other races as well, like elves, like, trolls. But again, you don't have to put elves, dwarves and wizards. You could go... Why not have a necromancer? I know that's, but that is a different wizard. The necromancer deals with the undead. It deals with, the dark side of wizardry. So you could do that. equally, don't put elves in. You could put, you know, sprites or brownies or boggarts or chloricons. You know, look for different other things. And this is what I found when I did the Story Spark cards. That it was like open my eyes to different race, different fairy tale, different mythologies that you can then use in your books. And I think this is why, if you look at the success of Harry Potter, she did that. She looked at all these sort of mythological creatures and races and stuff like that, and put different ones in. You know, instead of elves, you could use goblins. I know they're different, but you know, you want that difference. Or you could even try and be so bold as to create your own creatures or create your own race. I know that's harder, but you could still do that. Martha says, I'm writing fantasy, but the MC is a bugbear or bearfolk. Yeah, exactly. Put a bugbear in your story. Do you see what I mean? So you put something different. Or druids. Yeah, you could have druids instead of wizards. Yeah, it was good. The JK included a hippogriff. Yeah, absolutely. She didn't just do normal, you know, dragon or whatever. I mean, she did have dragons in them, but you know, and this is the balance. This is what we're trying to say, isn't it? You balance it with stuff that leans in towards the fantasy genre, but then you do differences. So that would be my advice if you are writing a fantasy book or doing a board game or whatever, you know. And that, I would say that's true of any genre. A kickshaw druid could be fun. Oh, a kitson, I'm not quite sure of that word, Martha. Could be fun. Trickster foxes from traditional Japanese folklore. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can mix things up, make it slightly different. Personally, I find a nin-tailed fox. There you go. A nin-tailed fox or a nine-tailed fox. Personally, I find universal movie monster like vampires, werewolf, golems, mummies, etc. to be more fresh and interesting than Tolkien Norse fairy folk, especially if you are doing science fantasy. Yes, and again, it depends sort of what genre you want to lean into. But I do think if you're going to do vampires, if you're going to do werewolves, if you're going to do things that are well worn, try to find a different aspect of it. Try to look at it slightly differently. Because this is it. When I read a fantasy book, when I want to play a fantasy game or a game book, you want the same, you want fantasy, but you want something slightly different. And I hope that that's what I've done with my game book, that I've put different layers of things in there that aren't as common as you would get. I got a werewolf in my book, but only on other character knows what he is. Yeah, and that's cool. That's the thing. Still write about werewolves, still write about trolls and dwarves and the common sort of, you know, fantasy creatures and races, but try to sort of do something slightly different with them. I mean, you know, so that's my game book. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm very happy that I've written 400 entries. So the next stage then is in January, I'm going to start typing up each entry. Now I have written, as you know, this is the sample. This is 30 entries. 30 entries. So I'm going to be going back over these entries just to make sure that they fit in with what I've written now, what I've planned out now. Because that's what I do when I write. I have a plan, but I'm open for it to change, you know, just in case something else creatively happens while I'm planning and writing it out. You know, when I'm doing the first draft. So the next thing is to get the first draft done by the end of January. Then do the play testing. So, Jonathan, here's a question to you, and Jam. When you do play testing and you ask people to play test, how do you do that? Do you always just do it digitally because it saves money rather than printing it out for them? How do you do that? I'd be interesting to know what's kind of acceptable. After you have sent out stuff in March, It's actually May, Martha, is when I'm going to send stuff out. Will you start playing again on a Friday? Yes, I'm hoping to get back to doing Friday live streams from 7 p.m. because where we do video gameplay. And I was actually thinking about playing The Witcher the other day because I was thinking, I want to get back into that. So yeah, I do hope to reinstate those, but I'm not 100% sure when. So Jam does usually PDF. Some of the Ace playtesters would print it off from that. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yes, I do it digitally. I also ask them to look for specific things such as broken links, loops, unbalanced encounters. Yes, that is, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them a little checklist. I don't want to give them too much though, because then people might be put off by that. But I thought about that, Jonathan. Yeah, it's a very good point. Especially the balance of things, because you know, when you set sort of skill tests, the first there's one in here where you find it fairly early on, and I'm asking for a ridiculously high level of that test. I'm like, there's no way you'd be able to pass that. So I already realised when we did the playthrough, didn't we do a playthrough of this? Yeah, we did a live stream of this. That, yeah, I've messed up the balancing. So I do realise, yeah, the balancing is important. So yeah, that's a very good point actually, to ask them for specific things to look for. Might be a good idea to try something less complex than The Witcher. And we can't roll a 1. Yes, and we can't roll a 1, yeah. I know. That is a classic case of not thinking that through. For those of you that missed that, I've got various things in the back of the book where it says roll 2 d12s, and then I've put and find out the result, and then I put 1, you rest peacefully, gain 2 fatal points. Like 2 d12s. So I do need to get rid of that one. If 20 people offer to playtest my book, probably only 10 actually will playtest it, and 5 will give really good feedback. Yeah, I wondered that as well, Jonathan. Yeah. I think this is where you have to playtest it yourself as well, because you can't totally rely on people, because they're doing it voluntarily. So, you know, if they want to spend loads of time on it, brilliant. If they want to spend a little amount of time on it, you can't have a go at them for that. It's their voluntary, you know, it's their free time, isn't it? Anders Have is a great mapper as well, but may get confused in ref, doesn't connect, i.e. you need to get a riddle for the next ref. Right, yeah. That's an interesting thing. I've not put too many where you have to solve puzzles. I have got them in there, but I've not laced it throughout the whole game book. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but there are some where you do need to solve a few puzzles or riddles to get the answers, you know, to get those entry numbers to carry on. Because I do think sometimes with those, is that a blocker? If you genuinely can't get those. Actually, here's a question. Has anybody got on their website then, Jam or Jonathan, have you actually put on your website, here's all the answers? You know, download this document here if you're particularly stuck. Because that's just crossed my mind, because it must be frustrating if you genuinely can't work out, especially if it's a maths problem, that'd be me. Do you? Oh, so you don't. So John's put no. He doesn't put the spoilers up. He doesn't put the answers up. Okay. Not done walkthroughs, but others have. Right. Maybe I should, but charge for it. Yeah, you could charge £1 for it, I guess. Yeah. I just wonder, because it's like, if you get stuck, maybe do it where you have to contact me personally. I think that would risk people looking it up before they have. Yeah, exactly. It's a tricky one, that. Maybe I shouldn't. Unless, yeah, somebody, if they're really desperately stuck. But like you say, Jam, See, at the moment, my book is not going to be well known enough for anyone to make a video of it to go through a walkthrough. Well, unless Julian does a playthrough, I guess. I strongly recommend Resident Evil 2 2019 remake version played on easy mode on Friday the 13th next year. Is that an anniversary then? Is that the anniversary? No, it's not. Why? Just because that's Friday the 13th. Is that the only Friday the 13th? I think I've played Resident Evil 2, not the remake, but the actual original one. I got a game book that looks like a comic book. It's fun to play. Yeah, that's a cool idea. That's again riffing off of the game book idea. Again, they want a hook. You want a hook. My one, again, I've not necessarily got a hook as such, as in mine's very traditional game book, but I hope that the quality of the writing, the illustrations, and the gameplay mechanics, is enough for people to enjoy it. I'm sure it will be, but it's tricky coming up with a different hook. No, it's the first Friday the 13th of 2025. Oh, the first one. Right, the first one. Yeah, good old zombies. You need some zombies. So there we are. So that is the game book. So I'm very happy with that. That was my plan, was to finish the 400, planning out the 400 entries before the end of January, which I've done. So I'm going to take a couple of days off from writing it, because again, your head gets a bit, I don't know what the word is, logged up. I'm just going to show you that. I do want to paint this. I do want to make more of these. These are quite cute. Shall I put them on a spike? Goblin heads on spikes. Oh, maybe that's what I should do, and have a spike going. Would people buy those? Goblin heads on spikes? Is that a bit gruesome? Sell them at Halloween. Okay. Is that a good idea? That's a bit of a hook. And then the other thing I'm going to be doing for 2025 is, of course, my devilish deaths, deliciously murders to solve, deliciously difficult murders to make, deliciously difficult murders to solve. So this is my cooperative 1 to 6 player murder mystery game, and I've play tested it 4, maybe 5 times now. Got good feedback. I've tweaked it, and I think now I'm pretty much sure this is I'm going to be sending it out to pitch. Deliciously makes it sound like one of those murder mysteries dinner parties. Oh yeah, deliciously, yeah, true. Oh, if it was, then that would be a perfect tagline, wouldn't it? Well, the thing is, because I've got devilish dilemmas, when I was thinking up the title for this, I thought, I know, just devilish deaths. It's a DD, iteration. People love that. And then I didn't want to put devilishly difficult murders to solve, because I think I'd done that on here. I can't remember, but I don't know. But this sort of stuff really is then down to the publisher, isn't it? I always think that your prototype and everything that you've done on a board game or card game is a blueprint for the publishers to say, this is how it could be. This is how it could be. This is what you could have won. And then the publishers will, they'll make certain changes that they feel are good for the game. Look at the time. Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, we've come up for an hour. So I've put the rules together now, which is good. So I've typeset the rules, gone through it all. And the next thing to do on this is I do want to put this up on Tabletop Simulator. Always get that wrong. Tabletop simulator because, you know, some publishers don't necessarily want a prototype sent in the post to them. And it's just easier. You can pitch it to them and play the game with them on Tabletop Simulator. That's what Kedrick and I have done in the past, and it seemed to work pretty well. And the good thing about doing that is this game would work pretty well on Tabletop Simulator because it's a bit clunky to play, but it's not impossible. You can, I don't know if anybody's, you know, used Tabletop Simulator, but you basically can create board games within the digital world, and then you can use, you know, either Facebook or Twitch, you know, we've been using, or Discord to then use the voice to chat to each other. And the good thing about this is this isn't a hidden mechanism. There's nothing tricky that you need to do with the cards. Basically, the game is that you move into different locations, so you'll just be moving a token, which is very easy to do on the simulator, and then flipping cards over and reading them, which is, again, very easy to do on the simulator. So it should work pretty well on the Tabletop Simulator. So that is my next plan with that before I start pitching it around. So there's a lot of work goes into getting a game designed, you know, from the concept of it to the design of it to thinking it through to the prototype to play testing to then getting the pitch ready. I also want to do a video just explaining the game in like a minute or so. So there's a lot that goes into it just before you get to the pitch stage. Sorry, got to go. Yes, I'm going to wrap it up now as well. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for watching. Have a lovely New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. Leaving is put a deliciously murder mystery. Reminds me of the Roald Dahl's delightfully dark Lamb to the Slaughter, where the murderess literally, yes, feeds the lamb leg to club her husband. Yes, I remember that one really well as well as a kid, because I was thinking, wow, that's very clever. Good night, John. Yes, Happy New Year's, John, says Jam. So thank you. Yes, we better wrap it up. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. You guys are amazing. It's always a pleasure to chat to you guys. And if there's anybody new that just watched and didn't commented, you're more than welcome to do that, obviously. Happy New Year, and hope you had a lovely Christmas as well. We know. Good, I'm glad you know. Good night, Ken, John, Martha Jam, and Gentle Grocklesnook, and Happy New Year. That is from Lee Rin. Oh, look, Grocklesnook's on the sauce. He's already drunk. He's already drunk. What have you been doing, Grocklesnook? He's already drunk. Wake up, wake up. So thank you for watching, yes, and Happy New Year, Lee Rin. Happy New Year, Jam. Happy New Year, Martha. Happy New Year, John. Happy New Year, Sally, if you're watching. Happy New Year, Jam. And to anyone else that was watching, I really appreciate that. And it's a pleasure. The next thing we're going to be doing is there will be a live stream on Wednesday. This Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. The Ghosts of Craven Manor. It's part 9. And this will be the last part that we do. So we're either going to succeed or we're going to fail. We shall see. Hopefully we'll succeed. Take care. And remember, may your thieving never get caught. I've got to work on my puppetry. See you later.